Good morning from me. It's a perfect Monday morning after a stunning weekend. Kicking off the day with a few thoughts really about human behaviour that were really obvious over the weekend. It was a royal weekend this weekend, and I'm not for and against it, completely neutral in terms of the royal family. One thing that was really apparent this weekend was human behaviour and the way of which we interpret events like royal weddings, like religious holidays, like birthdays. Now, I find it really interesting how there are certain events that trigger spending, and whether it's because we want to or whether it's because we're told to, whether we are told that there is a celebration that means therefore that we should spend. Now, word present, just going back to the festive greeting, to give presents in my world is to give presents, i.e. be there with your phone off, with technology off, not work. You're giving up time and you're being present in that given moment. That to me is more important. That to me is key. To give presents is to be there. And I think there's been this transition with people over the years where when you go somewhere, you take a gift, you take a present. I do that. If I go to someone's for dinner or I go out somewhere at someone's birthday, I'm not saying that I don't do that, I certainly do, but I think we have to be consciously aware over actually who made that choice. Was it us, or was it a social obligation? Was it a social pressure that we need to either buy more or give more in order to feel accepted or feel valued or to feel part of? I think for us, or for me especially, having gone out at the weekend, I actually found it slightly bizarre the amount of overspending that was taking part as a result of a celebration indirectly had no connection to those individuals. It wasn't a public holiday, not a religious holiday. I don't want to come across as an individual that is anti that human behaviour, social behaviour, but I wonder actually how many of those individuals were conscious and made the conscious decision about the reasons why they were doing what they were doing. Whether they felt it was a social obligation to spend more, overspend at a time of which so many others were. Whether it was a social obligation because of what. And I just find the whole process really strange. Find it really interesting, the fact that what we do and the reasons we do what we do is because of either our own choice or the choices sold to us by the public. What are we being sold today that actually is taking away our freedom to think for ourselves? And there is, or we are told to spend as a result of an external event, either indirectly or directly linked to us. Are we doing it to feed an internal need to feel valued? Are we doing it to feel a need to feel a belonging, a sense of belonging, part of the group? Are we putting ourselves in situations where, in actual fact, we should be more charitable to ourselves? I said it the other day, if you're staring at your iPhone, the latest iPhone, are you scrolling through social media wishing you're one of those individuals traveling the world, or that you have financial payments on a car that you use for 40 minutes a day that exceed that of your mortgage or rental repayment? I think it's really important that we start to address some of the reasons why what we're being sold to and what we actually perceive as having true value. How are you being charitable to self? How are you fulfilling what is really key for you as an individual, as a standalone individual? I was to pick you up, put you in that field where there was very little judgment, there was very little expectation. What would you do? Would you go out and overspend on stuff for others? Would you put yourself in a financial situation which was actually negative in order to feel an element of belonging? Would you stay awake at night worrying about how you're going to pay your bill over the fact feeling accepted when you turn up for work in the morning and you've got the latest car? Are you happy with your Nokia 6210 or your Motorola Razr, iconic phone? Or do you have the latest iPhone X, Samsung Galaxy? What choices are you making which are consciously beneficial to you? What choices are you making at a subconscious level that are failing to support the direction you want to go in? You're a consumerist. Are you a statistic that is being highlighted by the recent Facebook scandal. You know, I use Facebook advertising. It's incredible how much detail, the audience you can chunk down. But don't you want to be more than a statistic? You not want to be more, but don't you want to be more than that? Don't you want to be more than an individual that is guided and manipulated by what you were told to have, be? So I guess in a roundabout way this morning, the invitation is pause for a moment, put yourself in the middle of a field, decide for yourself whether the choices you are making right now today are ones that you're making. Or are you being sold to? Are you being manipulated? How are you being more charitable to self? That's the invitation today. That's the invitation for this week.